So Output just updated Co-Producer to 1.04, and I'm super excited to be able to show you this. I have made another video teaching you how to use this. I did a walkthrough and tutorial. So this update is going to make Co-Producer even more easier for you to use. It's going to make Co-Producer even easier to navigate. It's going to make your workflow more faster, and it also makes working with Arcade a little bit more intuitive than it did, when it first released it. So shout out to Output doing this with Co-Producer to listen to people's feedback and the developers getting in there and making the changes needed. So with this update, is so much stuff. So of course I'm gonna have my chapters in here, but I'm telling you, please trust me. I'm going to show you how to use this and how to get the most out of it. Save this video, okay? But it's so many things that you can do with Co-Producer and Arcade together. So right now I already got an instrument track with Arcade there, but with Co-Producer you want to put it on your master track, right? Because when it's on your master track, it can analyze all the tracks at once, right? So that's what we're going to do, because when you're analyzing your track, it's going to listen to the different rhythms and what you got going on, right? So that's just their rule. So let's go to it. We're going to do Co-Producer, and then Logic is super cool because you can just type in Co-Producer like that. You can find it, right? So also something cool that I want to show you. So here is a hack that you can use to save your prompts. So if you like the samples that were generated by a prompt that you created, you can save that prompt in Logic. Maybe you can do this in other DAWs too. But so for instance, say if I want to do sensual R&B guitar, sensual R&B electric guitar, right? I can do that, and I can save as. And so if you go here, now I have both of these presets saved in Co-Producer. So that's super dope. You know what I'm saying? Like if you liked a prompt that you created. So I made one called Synth R&B Melody, and I like that a lot. All right, so now we got our prompt, and it also saves the key as well. So let's go back here. So let's see, we can select the key. We didn't select the key, so you see, so we can do E minor. All right, and we'll do save as again, replace. Right, so we got it in E minor, so let's go to R&B Synth. R&B Synth is at C major. So I suggest that, of course, you save your prompts, because you may have a sample and you like, how did Co-Producer generate that, right? So you'll know because the prompt that you used generated that sensual electric R&B guitar loop, right? And I suggest that you save your prompt after you figure out that you like the prompt and what it generated. Don't just save everything, because if you're going to be using this a lot, it's going to be a lot, right? So you want to just save what's special, right? So that's just the first hack. So first of all, Co-Producer has now partnered with different music software companies for them to be able to contribute their samples to generate more samples for you, so you have more samples to choose from outside of what Arcade provides. So I took some time to just look up the different sample libraries, and so here we got Sennheiser, right? Sennheiser is pretty cool. You can read about these different ones, and I'll put all of them in this video actually, and they got different genres, house, main room, trance, techno stuff, electronica stuff, D&B. I just learned about D&B with this. We also got Black Octopus. Now, I already see that Black Octopus has 1 gigabyte of free samples. So definitely take advantage of that. It's on their site. But just listen to the sounds and what they're about. I don't want to play it because I don't want to get flagged. I don't know. Even though these are free, but whatever. They got a bunch of different stuff as well here. We got minimal audio. We got Cinesamples. Of course, Cinesamples is in the name. Brass, wind, orchestra stuff, percussive stuff, keyboards, choirs, world stuff, string instruments. We have touch loops. I really like what I heard from them a lot, and it's very soulful samples, at least from what I naturally gravitate to and what I was able to check out. And then we have Wavetip. So Black Octopus is a library that is partnered with Output's Co-Producer. They have partnered, and now their samples are in the generated samples that Co-Producer generates. So they got a bunch of loops and samples of so many different genres, a variety of different sounds, high quality sounds too as well. So as of today, out of all of the third-party sample libraries that will be partnering with Output for Co-Producer, I'm seeing Black Octopus, but these will be just showing up more and more, and I love everything. So I'm going to show you also how to save your samples from these third party companies that are not in Arcade. From the samples that are generated by co-producer that can be found in Arcade, you can always just favorite it, right, to your favorites, and it'll always show you that, hey, you like this line. But you can't do that with the third-party plugin. So I'm going to show you how you actually can do that, okay? So just stay tuned. I'm telling you, it's so much that I'm going to show you. Like, I'm trying to keep up with myself. Let's go to our other preset that we saved. All right? So we have the synth R&B melody. I like it in C major. We're going to go to find samples. And let's just hear some stuff from Black Octopus. So as you can see, this is from Black Octopus right here. You can tell because this thumbnail is definitely not something we've seen before, right? Because it's not an Arcade. So you can get more information by clicking these three dots, and it'll show you from our partners at Black Octopus. It shows you the original key, which is in A major, and the original tempo. All right, so let's hear something else. I like that. Let's do something like a chord progression, synth R&B.
Chord progression.
I'm basic with my prompts, y'all. I'm very basic with my prompts, but you can get creative. All right, so here is another sample from Black Octopus. That's gorgeous. Ooh, perfect. Excuse me. That was perfect. Let's go to show similar samples because I really did like that. So as you can see, here goes. Right, and then here is another sample like that. I like it. So if you're new to co-producer, all you have to do is just drag and drop that in if you like that. I never know what to do with that. Okay, and then we can drag that in because we like that too as well. That is pretty dope. First of all, let me show you some things. We went to show similar sample, and our original sample is here. So it's saying showing similar sample to the sample that we liked, and we want other samples to be generated that are like this, right? And then it showed us more samples, right? So this shows you the original key of this sample, which is B major. It shows you the original tempo, which is 120, and it shows you where it's from our partners at Black Octopus Sound. So as you can see, both the original keys are in B major, right? Which is super cool. And it can generate other samples from different libraries that are like this sample as well. So that may sound good, but it's going to sound. I like that. Let's see how that sounds. I like these two samples together a little bit more. The first thing I'm going to show you actually is this. We like these samples, right? So what we're going to do, as it says in here, is to generate sampler in Arcade. We're going to do that later. The first thing I'm going to show you is just how to save this smooth and simple way, right? Because maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you just want to save the samples for you to have them later because you're still searching, right? So we're going to go to Arcade, and then we're going to go to Your Stuff, and then we're going to go to Imported Samples, okay? So what we're going to do is simply this. Drag and drop. And then you can just drag and drop all of them. We don't got children. And then we're going to do the shot down. All right, we can also take it a step further and just create a sample kit with all of these things, right? So now to save all the samples that sound good together, I would suggest you creating a sampler instrument. And that's how to be fancy. Okay, so put create new sampler. Discard. All right, so all you have to do is drag and drop these in here, and this is not going to change the key or anything like that. And yeah, just save them so they'll all be together, because say if you just drag and drop those to your favorites, which is smart, but maybe 5 months later you'll be like, I like this, like what did these go with, right? But now you have them all together. So this is just a suggestion. So I would call this R&B synth. You can get more creative than me, honestly. original key B major, but in C major, A minor, 120 BPM. So there you have it. And then, yeah, just say. And then it'll, if you go to your stuff, custom, and then you'll have it right there. So this is a sampler kit. So generate a sample is something different. Generate a sample is chopping your sample up, right? So it's two different things, so don't get confused with that. So now I'm going to show you how to generate a sampler, and I'm going to show you best practices, okay? And we're going to generate a sampler for a third-party sample, right? So let's go ahead. It really doesn't matter, but I'm just going to show you what you can do. So you can just click generate sampler. And to generate sampler, if you're new to Arcade, you can choose any of these effects presets, and all of the macros are all unique to whichever effects preset that you use. Down here, you have sample slicing, and you can choose how you want your sample sliced. You can have it standard, you can have them stretched, you can have them chopped, which is my favorite. You can have them shifted, which is more avant-garde, and then standard. Pretty cool, pretty cool. I personally like stretched and chopped. And they're all different. And we also have the black key effects, which this is like a reverse. Sometimes it's a stretch. This is almost like a gating, a skip, repeat. This is like twisting and just having your loop jump around at different transient points. So these are what the black key effects are. So, right, if you didn't know, you always play the full loop here. So if you want to change the key of this, you can change it to the original key, B major, right? You would change it here, and then you would change B major here. And you see how if I just had C major here and B major there, it's not going to be in the key of B major like we want it. So you want to make sure you match both of these to each other so they can play correctly. So we can play it back to C major. And then we can save it. Now we have a sample that is now its own kit. So it's pretty cool, sample generator. So it's pretty dope. And in your custom kit made with the sampler generator, you can actually edit the black key effects, right? So we have, so the speed is just looping. So we're gonna make this a reverse. We're gonna keep it loop. That will be beautiful for ambient track, right? We can change the speed if we want. We can do that to be 1/8. And you can change the octave as well. We can do octave. I love it, I love it, I love it. All right. So there we have it. And if you go to your stuff and you go to custom, you'll see your kit generated by the sampler generator, the kit generator. I'm going to keep it the name of the sample because it'll make it easier to identify. We're going to visit the sampler generator later again. So now we are back in Arcade, of course. And as you can see, they are just updating the sample lines, you know, with new kits, new instruments. The UI is like showing you like what they have new. So Arcade is amazing, like, yeah. But anyway, I can get stuck there. Let me show you how co-producer work for the new people. Say if we want to just keep our little loop right here. It's R&B synth chord progression. I'm going to save. I like the samples that I generated, so I'm saving. So if we go back to AU presets and we go to AU presets, we go to press 0 untitled. And it'll just clear that out. So we can just type in something new. So we're going to find, so I typed in my prompt name first, but I'm going to let Arcade listen to my track. And I'm just going to press this button in the center. and then I'm going to press play. You're going to see this blob thing in the middle. It's going to highlight because it's listening, it's capturing the audio. See? And they got the progression around it. Alright, so it recorded it as well. So that's pretty dope. Alright, so then this, you can just erase everything if you want. Like you can erase that and have it listen to a different part of your track. So say if this was a different section of our song, I'm going to delete that because I don't want it to listen to what it already listened to, you know, to generate. I'm going to make this, I'll be messing with the tempo stuff a lot, but I'm going to change the tempo because I'm going to show you what I mean. So say if one part of our song, the intro is faster and then our verse is slower, just hypothetically why this is important. It's going to generate samples that match the rhythm. So maybe a loop that is more slow and sensual. So I'm just going to delete this and I'm going to have it listen to this section. Then I'm going to press the button to capture my audio. And then I'm going to press play and it's going to capture the audio. Determining the harmonics and all of that, so that's cool. So let's see what samples it find for me. So what I'm saying is you may need to delete what it already heard. Put R&B slow drums, but I'm about to have it listen to my audio. There we go. All right, so I got that. And make sure you spell your stuff right. It doesn't autocorrect you, so let's see what it generates for us. Find samples. I like that. And that is from Black Octopus. So as you can see, Black Octopus has drum sounds, drum patterns. They have progressive patterns. Keep that in there because I like the rhythm of that, but I really like this too, so let me see. I'm just playing around with that, but I'm going to make that the intro of the video. Alright, so now I'm going to show you why Co-Producer just made searching for the sample that you like in Arcade much easier. Okay, I'm going to actually make this screen a little smaller so they can go side by side a little better. So now if you go to the sample that you like, you can already see what line it is in the thumbnail if you use Arcade a lot, but if you don't, this is how you identify it. So if you click on these three buttons, it'll show you from the line Honey in Arcade. It also shows you the original key, it shows you the original tempo, shows similar samples, generate a sampler in Arcade. But you can also open the kit in Arcade, right? And you do so by just copy and pasting the name. So what I do is just highlight it. I literally just click on it, Command C. All right, and then it tells you. So you're going to open Arcade and paste it in the search. So let's do so. So we're going to go to search and we're going to go to Command V, search, and there you have it. You have where to get this sample from and what kit it comes from. All right, so I already have that in my favorites. I favorite everything almost. I just want to tell you for future references, we're going to clear this out. If for some reason you were searching in a sample before you opened Arcade to find this particular sample and you were in samples and you have this highlighted, if you go to Command V and paste it in there and press search, it's not going to find anything for you because you're looking in the samples. If you press instruments, it's not going to find anything for you because it's not an instrument, right? If you go to the sampler, then you will find it. So I just want to show you that because a lot of people may ask, well, I copied and pasted and I still don't see it. Well, that could be why you didn't. So I also want to inform you that searching for individual samples are now easier. As you can see on here, we just saw that it says open kit in Arcade, right? And you can just open a kit in Arcade by copy and pasting the name. But for all of the samples generated by Co-Producer, it won't have open kit in Arcade, as you can see here. So if we go to this sample, it doesn't have open a kit in Arcade. So what you can do is just find it based off the name, which is easier than ever. But it does say it's from the Pocket Band line in Arcade, but all of them don't say that. So I just want to tell you that because I want to be very thorough in here. All right, so if we go to bomb synth good grooves. So if we typed in bomb synth good grooves 04. We want to make sure it's spelled right? And then we want to go to samples, and then we're going to go to search. Okay, and there you have it. Right? Same one. And if you like that, of course, you can add that to your favorites. You can also download that, right? You can download it. You can add it to your favorites by pressing these 3 buttons. And you can download it to your favorites by just hitting this little cloud like button. All right, but you want to make sure you go to samples and not sampler. Okay, I want to show you a few more things in co-producer. So as you can see down here, we have our session key in C major. We can change the session key right in the user interface where our samples are generated. So session key down there. So if you go down to the bottom left and it says session key, you can change that to G major. Let's do something very different from what we already did. So you are able to preview the samples in a different session key. So you don't always have to stick to the session key that you set when you were generating your prompt. You can also change the session BPM. So you can do the original BPM, the sample's original BPM. Let's see. To see if you want to just put your song in the original BPM, you can choose 120, which is set by our DAW, and you can go to original BPM. Okay. You can also affect the volume, right? Maybe you want to play it lower while you are auditioning it to play with your other tracks, right? Also, you have these arrows down here where you can skip through to the different samples. Right? And you can go backwards as well. These things are small, seemingly, but they are very important for you to understand your software. So if you're spending money on this software, you need to know it in and out, okay? So I want to make sure I show you this with the sampler generator. So we got the pretty keys, our chords 1, and as you can see, here is the same sample. So this is an original key, D major, B minor, but our key is C. I found this sample when I searched for the sample in samples, of course, right? We already did that. Right, so I found it here already in the library, meaning I didn't drag and drop it in there. You can just do that, but I'm going to show you how to generate the sampler. So these are the same samples. I got the pretty keys, arc chords, and B minor, pretty keys, arc chords, right? But our session key here is in C major. So this is very important, right? Because we like it when it sounds like this, but when it generates, it's not going to sound like how co-producer generated it, right? Because we set our session key. Here is going to play in its original key when you just find it in the sampler library. I want you to understand this. So we're going to go to generate sampler, pretty keys ARP. Super cool. So right now we got a D major and we got a C major. Do that sound like this? What I'll say is the entirety of our kit would have to be in C major, like our session key is, and our sample slicing would have to be in the original sample key, which is in B minor. And so I just wanted to tell you that honestly, you would just want to just drag and drop that in. So if you just drag and drop this sample in, it'll play in the key that you like, which was C major, and A minor is a relative minor. But why did I have to show you all that? Because I want to show you the issues you may run into as well. I want to show you how to do things right, but I want to show you that if it goes wrong, why it may have went wrong. Thank you for watching. Remember, the best practice is to just drag and drop the sample you like into Arcade, okay? Because then it'll already be in a key that you like, okay? So thank you for watching.